The Galaxy Council chamber was older than most civilizations. Its massive ring-shaped hall floated in deep space, surrounded by thousands of watching species. Crystal banners shimmered with the symbols of empires that had ruled for millennia. Today, they were united by one decision: war. At the center platform, High Arbiter Zel Thron extended his elongated limbs, his voice amplified across the chamber. By unanimous vote, the Galaxy Council declares war upon humanity. A wave of approval echoed through the hall. Many species had waited for this moment. Humans were new, unpredictable, and dangerously independent. They refused control, rejected resource quotas, and questioned ancient authority. Screens across the chamber lit up, showing Earth, a small blue world, fragile, laughably young. "This war will be swift," continued Zel Thron. "Humanity lacks numbers, lacks technology, and lacks wisdom." The council turned their attention to the human delegation platform. 3 humans stood there. No weapons, no armor, no visible fear. Ambassador Elias Morgan stepped forward. He smiled. Not a nervous smile, not a forced one. A calm, almost amused smile. The chamber fell silent. "Is this a misunderstanding?" sneered a Dravak warlord. "You face extinction, human." Morgan nodded politely. "We understand perfectly." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. "You understand that we will burn your fleets," Zel Thron said. "Erase your colonies. End your species." Morgan's smile did not fade. "Yes," he replied. "That is why we smiled." The silence deepened into unease. A Letheri scientist whispered, "Why is he not pleading?" Another delegate leaned closer. "Why do their heart rates show no panic?" Morgan clasped his hands behind his back. "You see, Honored Council, humanity has a long history with war. We did not survive by being the strongest or the most advanced." He looked around the chamber. "We survived by preparing for the worst." A hologram flickered to life behind him. Human shipyards, endless, hidden within asteroid belts. Deep oceans and folded space pockets. Weapons the Council had never detected. AI fleets operating without crews. Soldiers training in environments designed to break minds. Gasps echoed. "You monitored our public fleets," Morgan continued calmly. "You counted our colonies. You measured what we allowed you to see." Zel Thron recoiled slightly. "These images are impossible." Morgan finally dropped his smile. "They are necessary." The human delegation turned to leave. "As per council law," Morgan said, "you have given us 72 standard hours before hostilities begin." He paused at the edge of the platform. "Thank you for the warning." When the humans vanished in a flash of light, the chamber erupted in panic. For the first time in 10,000 cycles, the Galaxy Council wondered if they had just 72 hours. That was the time the Galaxy Council had granted humanity. Across council space, admirals laughed. Generals sharpened claws and calibrated planet killers. Ancient fleets awakened from ceremonial slumber, confident that another young species would soon become a lesson written in ash. But inside human territory, there were no speeches. No broadcasts, no panic, only silence. Deep beneath Earth oceans, dormant structures unfolded like metal flowers. Shipyards older than recorded human history hummed to life, fed by reactors hidden in tectonic shadows. Asteroids once labeled barren split open, revealing fleets packed so tightly that space itself bent around them. Humanity did not mobilize loudly. They mobilized efficiently. In a hidden command nexus orbiting a dead star, General Amina Rahman stood before a wall of data. Thousands of star systems blinked red. "All fleets," she said calmly, "transition to phase black." Across space, human AI cores acknowledged in perfect synchronization. Phase black meant one thing: no retreat, no warnings, no mercy for hostile command structures. Meanwhile, panic crept into the Galaxy Council. Scouts sent toward human borders vanished, not destroyed, not damaged, simply gone. A Zarnathi observer stammered during an emergency session. "Our probes did not explode. They stopped existing." Council scientists scrambled for explanations. "It could be cloaking," one suggested. "No," replied another, trembling. "Cloaking leaves distortions. This leaves nothing." Then came the first message. It appeared simultaneously on every council screen. A single human symbol, Earth's old emblem of unity, followed by a short transmission. "We see your fleets." Fear rippled through the chamber. "How?" shouted Zel Thron. "Our armadas are beyond their sensor range." The answer arrived moments later. A live feed. Council admirals watched in horror as their own flagships filled the screen. Human targeting overlays wrapped around them with terrifying precision. Every weapon port, Every command deck, every reactor core. A Dravak general roared, "Fire now!" Nothing happened. Their weapons did not respond. Human cyber warfare had already rewritten their control systems. "You prepared for conquest?" said Ambassador Morgan's voice, echoing through the chamber. "We prepared for survival." At the edge of council space, the first human fleet emerged. Not with explosions, not with fanfare. They simply appeared. Thousands of matte black vessels, silent and perfectly aligned. No visible engines, no heat signatures. They did not advance. They waited. A Lithari elder whispered, "Why are they not attacking?" "Because humanity wanted something worse than destruction. Understanding." General Rahman watched the feeds and spoke softly. "Send the message." Across the galaxy, every military installation received the same transmission. "This is not an invasion," the human voice said. "This is a demonstration." Then the Galaxy Council chamber was silent. Once proud fleets drifted helpless in space. Battle stations hung dark and powerless, their weapons useless. The war that was supposed to crush humanity had ended without a single explosion. High Arbiter Zelthron stood slowly. His voice shook. "We concede," he said. "State your terms, human." Ambassador Elias Morgan stepped forward. There was no triumph in his eyes. "We want no territory," he said calmly. "No tribute, no throne." Confusion spread across the chamber. "You have disabled our fleets," a Dravak general growled. "You could rule the galaxy." Morgan nodded. "Yes, and that is exactly why we will not." A hologram ignited behind him, displaying fragments of human history. Cities in flames, skies darkened by war, a planet scarred by its own ambition. "We learned long ago that domination always demands a price," Morgan continued. "And that price is paid by the innocent." General Amina Rahman appeared beside him as a projection. "You mistook our silence for weakness," she said. "Our restraint for fear." She paused. "We smiled because we knew the outcome." The council listened, unable to interrupt. "All disabled systems will be restored," Morgan said. "Your stations will function again. Your fleets will return home." Gasps echoed through the hall. "But understand this," he added. "Human space is now closed. Any hostile action will be met instantly." Zelthron lowered his head in submission. "The Galaxy Council accepts." The vote passed without opposition. For the first time in its history, the Council chose survival over pride. Moments later, human fleets vanished. Power returned to alien systems. Weapons unlocked. Yet nothing felt victorious. Across the galaxy, military doctrines were rewritten. Analysts no longer asked how powerful humanity was. They asked why humanity chose mercy. As the human delegation departed, a young alien observer whispered a question that echoed through countless worlds. Why did they spare us? The answer would become legend. Because the most dangerous species is not the one that seeks war. It is the one that is fully prepared for it and still chooses peace.